Rodney. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back again. So first things first, we got to do a little bit of house cleaning. We so anybody who's here, this is Monday. This is not Sunday. We do not normally record on Mondays, and I just want to make this very clear. The show and the live stream will be on Sundays unless there is a unforeseen event. My apologies. I need to get better at making updates and sending out alerts to say, hey, we're not going to be recording tonight. It's going to be the following day. But if you're here today and you're like, hey, this is kind of all over the place. No, it is Sundays, especially during the season. So we will be going live right after the games.
And Thursdays.
And Thursdays. We're going to do 2 shows a week this week. This season, bro. So we're very excited. More content for you guys. Preview show and a recap show. Post and preview show. Another house cleaning. I can barely talk. So I will be talking with a lisp every now and then. So just get used to it. Unfortunately, I got a wisdom tooth that is fully coming in. I am going to go ahead and go to the surgeon and get this thing handled. Cannot do a audio podcast where we are talking and I sound like Red Fox. That's not gangster. So we're going to get that handled. But now that we got that out of the way, man, as you see the title of today's stream, bro. We are talking about the Dolphins. Just gonna go ahead and recap the preseason as a whole. Because we didn't record yesterday, I said, you know what? There's plenty of channels that recap the actual preseason week 3. Let's just talk about the preseason as a whole for the Dolphins and how do we feel going into this season in a couple weeks. We do have to talk about this Shedeur Sanders mania, his sicko fans, and just the ridiculousness that is going on with the media when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. And also, we're going to go ahead and just have our take on what went wrong with Anthony Richardson. We're not going to approach him being a bust and all of that. The conversation is out there. He got benched last week. But I do think that we have something fresh and something unique to provide to the conversation, which is why I still wanted to talk about it. And then we're going to go finish off our division preview, man, with just the rest of the AFC. AFC North, AFC West, and AFC South, man. So
rapid fire.
Before we get to that, we have to get to this, man. So Rob, man, talking Dolphins, man. Let's get right into it, bro.
Yes,
Dolphins won 14-6. We don't have to get too deep into that game, like I said, but what was your overall thoughts about the Dolphins preseason before we get into what went right, what went wrong, and WTF, my brother?
So my overall thoughts on the Dolphins preseason, it was a success. And the primary reason why I say it's a success is because we didn't lose anybody that we really need for the rest of the season or anything like that. Now, it's concerning that Tyreek Hill wasn't able to play, that Devon Achane sustained an injury. And it's like, when you think about the Dolphins, Herbie, we have good players on this team, talented players on this team, but almost all of our best players, Tyreek's injuries are more recent, but when you think of Tua, you think of Waddle, you think of Achane, these guys are guys that you always worry about staying on the field consistently. But for the most part, Herbie, we did lose some guys, but we didn't lose any of our key stars. We had a scare with Chop in camp, but it turned out to be just something light. But overall, Herbie, I'm looking forward to the season. The preseason, for me, it showed me that the Dolphins were still working things out, right? Like I know sometimes, especially the way people felt about the starters in the last game. And they got off to a slow start, and I'll get to that when I get to what went right, what went wrong. But for the most part, Herbie, the Dolphins were just, evaluating some of the talent. We got to see some nice young gems that have come out of the draft for us, guys that some unsung heroes that we weren't expecting. So, the preseason has brought its pleasant surprises as well as its disappointments. But for the most part, the fact that we didn't really lose anyone big, that we can go into the season with a lot of our big guns, and that'll give us a really good chance to win and get off to a hot start.
All right, man. Well, since we already on the topic of discussion, man, let's go ahead and get right into it. Since we do have a loaded show, let's go ahead and get right into what your went right, what went wrong, and what the F, man. Starting with what went right for you overall throughout the preseason.
So, Herbie, what went right for me first and foremost throughout the preseason? I got to go with the defensive front. And I feel like the defensive front, there's going to be a lot going right for them for much of this season, especially if we can maintain that health. Once again, we're
Mm-hmm.
depending on guys who normally get hurt, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, to stay on the field. But Herbie, I'll even give an example from this previous game. The very first play of the game, and mind you, for context, it was our starters going against Jacksonville's backups.
Yeah.
But still, it's NFL talent against NFL talent. It's preseason, whatever. So first play of the game, man, Chop gets a sack, and his explosiveness off the line, Herbie. I'm watching him, and I'm thinking to myself, like, man, you have the complement of actually on that play, Chop got to Warford, but Jalen Phillips and Chubb are right there. And right away, you see that the defensive line is really going to be a problem, Herbie. And when you consider we just got Matthew Judon, which a lot of people were questioning this move. I love this move, Herbie, because to me, when the Dolphins signed Judon, I think this is one of the rare times where they're thinking ahead
Yeah.
because Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips are not reliable health wise. So
Absolutely not.
so there's a good chance you may lose one or both of those guys throughout the course of the season. And to have just Chop really be your main edge rusher without much help is just not, that's just not going to work out for you, right? So Matthew Judon to me is more insurance than anything. But Herbie, if the quartet of these guys stay healthy, you add that to Zach Sealer, you add that to Kenneth Grant, who has popped. Like he is looking like the beast that he was projected to be. He's probably one of the players I'm the most excited for to watch. So, the defensive front, Herbie, they showed a lot of good throughout the preseason. And I'm expecting them to be, especially on defense, really the driving force of any kind of success we have on that side of the ball. And when you consider what Anthony Weaver is able to do, how clever he is at mixing up coverages, his schemes, his simulated pressures, there's a lot to look forward to, especially if we can get pressure with four guys. You know
Yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
So,
For sure.
so
So
that's
from my perspective, me just watching the highlights because I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game, but this was my main takeaway. This was the first time that I felt that you guys had a legitimately fast and big physical team, right? Like you guys have had a fast team on offense, but you still ain't been able to beat the quote unquote soft allegations. The team I saw, and again, it was against backups, but the speed, like it was team speed. Like you guys have historically had slow defenses, dog. Like which is crazy because we're in Miami.
right.
Like,
Right. Not like you're
like
playing in the
that.
snow and the cold and shit like that.
Yeah, like that doesn't fit the style or just the persona that we want down here anyway, right? So this felt like a fast team that was also big and physical. So I was like, yeah, like when I saw Bradley Chubb get that first sack, I'm like, I haven't seen him move like that since he was with Denver.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited, bro. So unfortunately, to go from the highs, we do gotta level out the conversation though. So what overall in the preseason do you felt went wrong?
Before I get to what went wrong, just a few notables for what went right.
Oh,
Before
for
I
sure, for sure, for sure,
just quick, Ollie Gordon, Herbie might be a steal. Um,
absolutely.
like I am super bullish on him. He has performed well throughout the entire preseason. He looked good. He's looked good in every game, Herbie. And it goes back to the conversation we had about Ashton Genty, right? Like in the preseason, you normally get a little bit of a sample of what a running back might be like. Maybe other positions is harder to tell, but with running
Yeah, for
back,
sure,
you kind of see where you're gonna get.
for sure.
So Ollie Gordon, his physicality, bro, his vision, his ability to hit the hole, he's a smart player, Herbie, and you can
Yeah,
see it. Now he's gonna have to work on his pass protection and things like that, but he's a rookie. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited for him, especially when you consider the fact that Jalen Wright is hurt and Devon Achane is still out with a calf injury. So we're
that's
probably gonna be
bro. That's the beauty of the NFL, dog. If you have an opportunity, you got to take advantage. So, and we'll get to that. That's going to be a precursor to the main one of the main topic or main discussions that we're going to have, which is the lie of meritocracy in sports. It's not real. Like you got to take advantage of situations that fall upon you. We would not be even knowing who Ollie Gordon is more than likely if Devon A. Chan didn't get hurt and Jalen Wright didn't get hurt. That's just a fact. And he is stepping on the gas. He's making it to the point where they have to keep him on the team. That's the
Facts.
whole point. That's the whole point. But who else do you want to highlight, bro?
And I won't get too deep into it because now that preseason is over. But the last player, then, and I'll highlight him mainly for the previous game because he will play an important role this season coming up. Malik Washington. He showed a lot of good in the first few series and really throughout the preseason you've seen it, but his shiftiness, his ability to make plays when he catches the ball, to shake defenders, he has shown that he could potentially be the number 3 receiver that we've been needing badly, right? We traded away Janu for a guy who, Herbie, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know, I'm not expecting anything from Darren Waller. I don't know about
Except
other fans.
except for the best mixtape of
That's it.
2025.
That's it.
You
He
can
gonna
get the
he gonna
best
start.
mixtape of 2025.
He gonna throw some on SoundCloud. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Hey
all.
man, hey bro, you gonna see a music video with him in Future, bro. Hey, you know he tripping, man. You know he wildin'. You know he wildin', man.
So
But since we up again, man, since we up against time, let's go ahead and get to the what went wrong. Shit. You could use him. You could use Dan Wallace when he went wrong.
well, what I'll use for what went wrong, Herbie, is I will say overall throughout the preseason, what went wrong. I'll do two. I'll do what went wrong for me overall, and then I'll do a quick micro from the previous game. What
Okay,
went
yeah, for
wrong?
sure.
What went wrong for me, Herbie, was the fact that the Dolphins, while they have given me more confidence in our starting offensive line, and
Mm-hmm.
even then, we haven't even had the entire group of these guys together to really gain chemistry. So it might still be a bit of a mess when they all get together on the field and all and whatnot. But it's concerning the depth we have, Herbie. Larry Borum is not the answer at tackle, bro. Like
Mm.
he's not the guy. There's a reason the Bears let him go. You know what I'm saying? And the Dolphins are really struggling with the depth behind the offensive line, which is a position that guys are going to get hurt, right? So I know they signed someone. His name escapes me. But listen, Herbie, the prospects of the Dolphins, man, dealing with the depth issues that we have at certain key positions, and even at the quarterback position, you have questions when it comes to depth. Like depth is my overall problem with the team, and I know that you can't cover all your bases, but Herbie, there's so many teams that just seems loaded. Like injuries don't seem to hurt like the better teams, right? And I know you could say the quarterback plays a lot of part in that, but some teams just have legitimately great depth, right? Like the Ravens seemingly always have great depth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are just teams that just seem to always have guys in place. Even the Commanders last season, they lost a couple guys on the offensive line, but the guys that they had waiting in the wings were able to play at a competent, solid level. So, that's a big issue for me, Herbie, because obviously offense, everything in football starts in the trenches, right? It starts with being able to run the ball and impose your will. It starts with being able to pass protect for the quarterback. So, and given the fact that we also have unreliable characters on our offensive line, like Austin Jackson, who's just coming off an injury, that's a really concerning thing to me. The micro point I'm going to make of what went wrong, Herbie, and it's preseason, so listen, the sky's not falling for me. But as a fan of football, when you see your starting lineup play well in the preseason, psychologically you feel good going into the season. The Dolphins starting offense in this preseason had left a little bit to be desired. The game against the Jags, Herbie, we got off to a real slow start. That was one of the times where you seen how bad this offensive line can really be. There were free rushers on Tua. Tua literally drops back, and before he can even step up, there's a guy in his face. Like, we've been doing the same dance for too long. First play of the game, we have an ineligible receiver downfield, which is Jonah. He's a rookie. He's going to make rookie mistakes, but the bad penalties, the slow starts. We finished the final drive, but even then it took us converting on fourth down midfield. So, the offense looked a little sloppy to me, and it just feels like we may get more of the same that we have gotten these past few years, which is the Dolphins just never really having it all together. Now, look, the season has to be played to really get the answer to that, but for me, that is mostly what went wrong.
All right. Lastly, what the f and why was it Zach Wilson, dog? I already know it's Zach Wilson, bro. You ain't got to tell me,
It was two.
dog.
He's a co WTF, man. it was Zach Wilson, and people can say I'm being unfair on Zach, but people, we've already seen this story before. I know there are people who feel more comfortable with a quarterback with NFL experience, but I'll be honest with you, Herbie. Like Zach Wilson to me is that's $6 million that they balled up in a paper and threw in the trash, bro.
Yeah,
That's
one
how
hundred
I look
percent.
at
And set it on fire.
it. They did like
You could have gave that to me, dog. I could have went
facts.
to the trap.
Like you
I
might
could
have
have got
another chance.
I could have got me some chickens. You feel me? I could have busted down, bro. We could have flipped that, dog. Like I could have invested it, got some real estate, bro. Like you could have gave that to me. If you just gonna give away $6 million, bro, give it to the needy. Like Zach Wilson, uncle is one of the owners of JetBlue or something with JetBlue. He's rich. He's loaded, dog. He ain't needed. You give it to the community or something, bro. Like listen, bro. Listen. I'm not saying I'm a charity case, bro, but I could do exactly what Zach Wilson could do with that $6 million, bro. That's how I feel.
That's how
That's
you
how
make
I feel.
everybody feel, Herbie. That's how
That's
you make
how I
everybody
feel.
feel.
That's
You know,
how I feel, dog. For
my
real, dog.
my second and my co MVP for WTF Herbie would have to be Jake Bailey, our punter, kicking field goals. And it was only after that I hadn't been keeping up with the news, the past couple of days at that point. I didn't realize Jason Sanders was hurt. So I was like, I remember watching the game. I'm like, why the hell is Jake Bailey kicking field goals, man? What happened to Jason Sanders, man? Like, and he's gonna be out for 4 to 5 weeks, Herbie. So now we got to find a kicker. So,
Yeah, that's definitely a WTF, man. That is definitely a WTF, dog. So, because we went a little long, we'll just save the preview for Thursday's show. So we can actually, so we don't have to feel like we have to rush anything like that, man. So, let's get along with it, man. So, we got here right there, man. Hey, you already know,
hey,
man.
True
You already know the
Blazer.
homer. You already know, homie,
Hey.
True Blazer. Say it again, Rod. Say it again. Say it again.
I'm gonna say that, and I don't say this often, y'all, but Greer did his thing on this draft. I feel like a
No,
lot of
for
these
sure.
young players,
For sure.
a lot like Herbie. There's a good 5, 6. Even Jason Marshall is like a bunch of our rookies are really looking like they can contribute year one, and that's he doesn't normally hit the draft at the park like that. But I gotta give it to him this draft, Herbie, because I like what I've seen from Jordan Phillips. I've even liked what I've seen from Zeke Biggers. I didn't mention them because of other guys, but I mean, I'm very positive of their prospects moving forward.
You got to give credit when credit's due.
That's it.
Let me see here. Okay. Let me go ahead and let's get on with the show, man. Discussion. Shedeur Sanders and his sicko fans. I made a mistake. I made a huge mistake. I said this was not as bad as Tim Tebow. I said there was levels to this. I was wrong, bro. They're neck and neck. They're neck and neck. This is insane what's going on right now. Like, this is legitimately insane. He has a cult following. And I don't mean that in a positive manner. Like, the people who are going out of their way to do what they're doing for Shedeur do not understand that they're only hurting him. You're only making it worse. You're only going to give people who didn't really want him to begin with and don't actually have an issue with him, even though y'all think the entire NFL has this grand conspiracy to take it out on Shedeur, to take it out on Dion, who maybe I'm wrong, has one of the greatest relationships with the NFL that the NFL has ever had from a business perspective. Do y'all know that Dion worked for the NFL Network, right? For years, right? Y'all know that Dion has ties with the NFL that helps Colorado, but you have it convinced that this is a black man and a white man trying to keep him down, which you have bestowed onto his child. Your nonsense is the reason why he got drafted in the 5th round. Because it is. This is why. Like, we're just going to go through several examples of just idiocy. Chief among them. Chief among them. I got this right here. Oh, matter of fact, which one is this?
Dude.
Look at the title of this, Rod. Look at the title of this. Unc and Ocho lose it. hearing Kevin Stefanski claim he's not trying to sabotage Shedeur. What are we doing?
And you know what's sad about this specifically, Herbie? And this is just my 2 cents. I just think Unk and Ultra are pandering to the cult.
Absolutely.
Like
That's
that's
not
just
even
like
like
like dude, what are we doing here? You really think Kevin Stefanski is gonna take time out of his time to try to screw Shedeur? Or maybe Shedeur was just playing with the players who he's placed with on a depth chart. How about that?
like
Like,
it's so like there's disingenuous and then there's disgusting. This is disgusting. Like this right here is disgusting. You're trying to claim that a man who worked his entire life to become a head coach, a not one, but two-time head coach of the year, the guy that put an offense together to get Joe Flacco to make the playoffs, the guy who was already screwed and had Deshaun Watson forced upon him and had to deal with that nonsense. You think he's like, you know what? I already dealt with the rabid fan base of a quarterback who his fans thought they were better than he actually was. I'm going to do it again with Shedeur Sanders? What? Are you people out of your minds? Like, this is legitimately disgusting, right? Like, it's one thing when it's the fans and all of that, whatever. Fan stand is short for fanatic. I get it. What, like you said, this level of pandering because you want to be on the right side and you don't want to alienate your fan base. There's another video, right, with First Take. I wish I had it, but Ryan Clark, Dan Orlovsky, and Stephen A. Smith were like calling out people who were saying that Kevin Stefanski was trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders. They were like, no, that's crazy. But it's too late. Y'all can't even say that because y'all are part of the problem.
mm-hmm.
Ryan Clark specifically,
yeah.
Stephen A. Smith specifically, Dan Orlovsky a little bit. You guys fanned the fire 2 weeks ago when y'all grossly overrated what he did in his first preseason game, which I came back and said is the most overrated preseason game I've ever seen in my life.
Easily.
You guys have grossly overrated his talent because you needed the engagement. You needed Shedeur Sanders. You used him because it was an easy way to get clicks. You fanned his fire. You can't come back 7 months after the fact and say, "Oh nah, like actually this conspiracy." No. After that's y'all all have been alluding to this entire time. So the genie is out of the fucking bottle. Excuse my language.
It's too late.
It's way too late. It's way too late. So what I find hilarious, and again, everybody, I do apologize. I got a wisdom too, so I'm going to be talking with the lips or whatever. It is what it is. But I find it hilarious that something that we said, Rod, on this platform, daring to not even be brave, not even be courageous, just daring to just be objective and speak truthfully, people are trying to come back around and say that now. Here's an example of that right here, Rod. This is our boy, Brent Coleman.
Great videos.
The Shedeur discourse right now will not make it easier for him to stick in the league as a backup, by the way. The last thing teams want is their QB3 to be a story. If you really want him to have a long career, learn from the Tebow saga and just let the guy exist in peace. They can't do that, Brett. It's over.
It's over.
It's never happening, Brett. That ship has sailed months ago. They are incapable of doing what you said, which is giving them sound advice. It's too late. If you've seen the back and forth between Robert Griffin III, that shameless jackass, and Jeff Schwartz today on Twitter, you would realize this is beyond just regular discourse. This is people who see that Shedeur Sanders is a easy win for engagement and will flip and do whatever to be on what either side at the expense of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it hilarious because, Rod, you was all types of a coon. You was all types of an Uncle Sam. I was the big black goofy N-word.
Uncle Ruckus.
I was Uncle Ruckus. Like, that's who I was, bruh. For daring to just be objective. And if you don't believe that, we said this months ago, this ain't no victory lap. I don't care. I want Shedeur to be great. I'm not taking no victory. This ain't victory laps for us. This is deplorable. You think we like this? You think we even thought this was going to be this bad when we said this 3 months ago?
No. Never. Should have seen the writing on the wall, but never.
And again, when you are just objective and you don't want to get caught up on any side and you try to see things through the middle, you look crazy until you actually look right. So this is us. This is us right here. Ironically, funny story, funny anecdote. I was actually going to wear this shirt regardless, but then when I looked up the video, I was like, oh yeah, I'm wearing the shirt. I'm wearing the headphones. I'm like
that's hilarious.
Like, it was destined, bro. It was destined to come back full circle. Matter of fact, I'm taking the hat off. Forget it. We ready to let me go just for this segment, man. Just for this segment, I'm gonna take the hat off, dog. This is us, Rod. Not yesterday, not 2 days ago, not 3 days ago. This is us 3 months ago. The draft if you can't sell quarterbacks. That's it. You have to. You can hear it or no?
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah, it's going.
Oh, I can't hear y'all. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to let it play, but if I can't hear y'all. Sell quarterbacks.
I can hear it.
You can't sell quarterbacks if you're being honest and saying, yeah, we got some third-round picks going, dog. That's not how it works. The media created this monster. And then that is twofold. The second half of that is that
I'm always drinking beer.
The monster that they created would also follow Shedeur to the NFL. I don't know why that thing going on. The reason why Shedeur ultimately fell to the 5th round, the biggest reason is the media, because the NFL, I can't hear shit. And we didn't even see this. I viewed Shedeur as a starter. I thought that he was a starter at the least. But the NFL does not see him as a starter. The NFL sees him as a backup. The minute that clicked, it all made sense. Why would we draft Shedeur Sanders and everything that comes with for him to be a backup? Hold on, let me switch this real quick. I don't know what the hell going on.
Yep. Yeah, I hear you, bro.
All right, dog. So I'm not trying to get the thing. So yeah, bro, this is 3 months ago, dog. Like 3 months ago, we said this, bro. Rod, bro. What, like, how, like, there's never been anything more obvious than this.
Herbie, I'll tell it to you like this. When after Shedeur's last performance, which, look, I think the saddest thing about the whole Shedeur situation, Herbie, is that now Shedeur is in this space to where he will never truly be evaluated fairly. And what I mean by that is, Herbie, people are either going to look at everything one way extremely or the other way extremely, right? So he didn't have the best looking performance running with the third string, but that's okay.
Right. Like, it wasn't that he didn't have the best looking performance. He was objectively terrible. Like, he was all time bad.
No, he was
all time bad.
Okay, Herbie, he was bad. He was bad.
No. He was all time bad. Hold on. Matter of fact, I got you right here, Rod. For context, I have 9 years, and this is from Warren Sapp, a super analytics guy. I have 9 years of play-by-play preseason stats. Shedeur Sanders is the only QB to take 5 sacks in less than 15 dropbacks in any preseason game going back 9 years.
Yeah, that's bad. That's rough. That's rough.
All right, hold on. Now that I can hear, let me hear what we were saying right here, dog. Like,
Yep.
we could get Dylan Gabriel to do the same thing. We could get Tyler
You
Shuck
can
to
hear it
do the
now?
same thing.
Yeah, I can hear it
hold me
now.
a clipboard. I don't want a million questions about how was Shedeur in camp? How did Shedor's ball placement look in camp? What was Shedeur eating? Did he have a Gatorade today? Did he have a Snicker bar? Nobody wants to hear that. Why would my starting quarterback want to answer about what the hell Shedeur Sanders did? And that's how teams looked at it. So once that hit me, I'm like, he might. I thought he was going to get undrafted at one point.
It was Herbie. It was starting to look like that. It was starting to look like teams were just going to just give him the big middle finger.
But
Right?
I don't even think that. I think it is if we think you're a backup, because we've seen this. We've seen this with I can't remember the dude's name, and I should have looked it up. That's on me.
That's
But
good enough.
The
bruh.
gay,
But
the open.
like that. It was 3 months ago, Rodney.
Yep.
That was 3 months ago. That was 3 months ago. We were called Uncle Toms, Goofies, yada yada yada, whatever. And it played out. Cause it was that obvious. I'm not prophetic. I can't see the future. If I did, I'd be rich. I play the fucking lotto. But when something is so obvious as that was, what are we doing? What are we doing? Y'all lucky he got drafted in the 5th round. Now that I'm seeing how this is what is playing out. Y'all are lucky. Y'all are asking a NFL head coach, making a NFL head coach answer the question, are you trying to sabotage your 4th-string quarterback?
Which is like Herbie. Do people not understand like like how psychologically crazy that is? Like, like Herbie. When in the history of the NFL has a head coach been asked if he's sabotaging the 3rd string? Like when? Like what, bro? This is a man that has to prepare for a season, bro. This is a man that has to get grown men prepared for an entire season, and you're literally asking this guy if he's purposely sabotaging a 3rd string quarterback, dog.
Oh my God.
Here's what bothers me, Herbie. Here's what bothers me.
Go
Herbie.
ahead, man. Go ahead and cook, man. Go ahead and cook,
The
man.
thing is, Herbie, and I'm someone who rated Shedeur highly. Like I had a 1st round grade on Shedeur. I will say it again and again and again. I felt really good about him. I liked him more than Cam Ward. But has he shown me anything to make me feel like I was right? Not really. I'm just being honest. Not really. I would love for Shedeur to come out and just ball on these niggas. But he hasn't really been doing that, right? And people will say they haven't let him run with the starters. He's been with all the guys who are gonna get cut. And okay, man.
See, and we can leave on this note because we got a lot to discuss. I would have way more respect for people who had this approach if you were this impassioned about all 4th-round QBs on the depth chart or 3rd QBs on the depth chart or backups. If you guys were this impassioned about every single quarterback that gets drafted in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, undrafted, if you people were this impassioned about Quinn Ewers, I would be like, okay, at least y'all are being consistent. Shedeur Sanders is not getting treated any differently than any quarterback that's trying to make a team. And even if he is getting screwed over, so what? It is not his birthright to play with the ones. It is not his birthright to have the starters of the third preseason game in at the third quarter. Are y'all insane? Nothing is good enough. This is what Shedeur fans want. They want Anthony Munoz out there. They want Larry Allen out there. They want they want Jonathan Ogden out there. They want Randy Moss on the outside. They want Antonio Brown in the slot. They want Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith and Adrian Peterson in the backfield. You feel me? And they want Steve Walsh, Andy Reid. You feel me? Like, you know, they want Bill Cowher. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Herbie, Herbie, I'm just thinking about it now. I think about how he was viewed his first preseason game and how he was viewed his last preseason game. Because in both games he played with backups. And I'm thinking to myself, Herbie, I'm like, so y'all were so ready to throw a parade for this man just because he looked decent in preseason. And then he looks terrible. And then ends up, then now everybody wants to say, they're trying to sabotage him. So he's not responsible for any of that. For him being like, he's still on the team, he still prepares, he still has a playbook.
It's almost as if NFL quality head coaches got a little bit of film on Shedeur Sanders and realized what he does not like and did that to him in the NFL. And you saw what happened. He's a developmental quarterback. Let him develop in peace, guys. Please, bro. But from one quarterback to another, let's go ahead and move on, man. This right here, man, another discussion that I want to have, bro. Why Anthony Richardson failed. I don't even know because we up against it, but there's a lot to talk to ultimately get to the point that I want to get home to, right? So this is a 3-part destruction of Anthony Richardson. 3 people are involved in this to varying degrees. Part 1, the media. Part 2, Anthony Richardson. Part 3, the Indianapolis Colts. They are ultimately the biggest culprit of why Anthony Richardson failed. And you know me, I'm somebody who I ain't got time for excuses. We make too much excuses for when players we like are not good, and it has to be everybody else's fault. And that is actually what happened. Anthony Richardson just was not a professional quarterback. That's just the fact of the matter. The Colts can't make Anthony Richardson be better than ultimately he has shown himself to be up until this point. But they are still the biggest culprit because of one reason and one reason only. The Colts allowed the worst person in the world to influence them to do things that they never should have done. The Colts let the media speed up the process on somebody who had no business playing any NFL games his rookie season.
13 starts in college, bro. Just think about that.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to have the conversation, but try to speed it up at the same time so we're not like beating a dead horse, right? So I just want to focus in because a bunch of people talked about why he buzzed. There's a bunch of film, whatever. You can find all of that. What I want to do is I really want to focus in on the gaslighting that the media does as if we don't have the proof. We can't go back and see what y'all said. Like, everybody is saying he should have never started now. Oh, he should have never started. Oh, why did he start? You knew he had 13 starts in college. He should have sat. And it's like, y'all are such liars. You're despicable liars. I was there. Dog, this ain't happened in the 80s where I'm be like, all right, bro, you feel me? I was still in my daddy nutsack, right? So I can't really argue with nobody. I was there. It was 2 years ago. He got drafted in 2023. I saw all the videos. I saw how y'all talked. I saw how y'all gaslit anybody who said you would argue against that to not start. Let's go back, man. Let's go back. Like, because everybody's saying he should have started, bro. But I don't know. Like, What's this? What's this? What that say? What that say, Rod? What that
It's
say? Anthony Richardson needs to land with the uh, proven QB developer, and he has that in Shane Steichen, the same person y'all not fans of now. Y'all love Shane Steichen 2 years ago. Y'all loved him. He was the man. I would start him week 1. The only way that he's going to learn is on the job training. Lots of patience will be needed. That ain't no random dude. That's Jordan Reed with ESPN. What's this? What's this, Rod? Shane Steichen and Richardson is a dream coach QB pairing.
Mina Kimes.
That ain't no egg. That's one of the biggest personalities on ESPN. Like, what we doing? But then you got people, and I'm not always gonna believe the you play the game, so you might know more. But there is a difference between the people who didn't play the game in most of the discourse that I've seen, and the people who are just analysts. Ironically, our boy Emmanuel Acho, who was a former football player in the NFL, starting Anthony Richardson game 1 is a mistake. Let him learn from others first. The majority of great QBs don't start right away. Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Rodgers, Jackson. The exception is Burrow. Now, you got somebody like this. John Beck, dog.
The idea is that he needs some time, maybe full year. You said you were you told the Dolphins put you on the quote unquote Aaron Rodgers plan when they drafted you.
Yeah.
Do you think he does need to sit?
Here's what I'll say about all quarterbacks. I think it helps all quarterbacks to spend some time learning, developing, growing, watching somebody run the offense effectively. I know that there's those guys like a Matt Ryan, a Joe Flacco, a Justin Herbert, where they play early and you look at it and things are working, right? A lot of the times, run game, defense, play pass, like those things can help a young quarterback. But let's say you don't have those things, right? It's just, it makes it tougher. I look at Anthony and I see somebody that's extremely talented, right? You don't have to be a quarterback coach to be able to recognize physical gifts. The guy's physically talented. I've never sat in the meeting room with him. I've never sat in the offensive, watching the game after the game, going over stuff with him. I don't know how he processes, but you look at talent and you say, based off of what I know about quarterbacks and how much it can help a quarterback to spend some time, I would assume that he would be a guy that, with given the right time, it's going to benefit him.
Come on, dog. John Beck, former quarterback who understands that. But all y'all are saying it now. And one of the most egregious aspects of the gaslighting that I'm talking to, I was listening to a podcast, NFL Ringer Show, and I love the NFL Ringer Show, right? I love Shil Kapadia, and I love what he does. But I was working, and guys, I'm on a forklift. I got my headphone in my ear. This headphone right here that's on the show right now. I almost threw that shit at the freaking wall, dog. For what I heard. This exchange that I heard that made me want to vomit, bro. So I'm just going to read the transcript right here, bro. This is Shil Kapadia. He had 13 college starts. And what was the book on Anthony Richardson? He's 21 years old. You know what? He got to the right place. You mold him. He got physical tools, but he's not a finished product. This was 90% of the Anthony Richardson conversation before the draft. Then they draft him. Yeah, but y'all all wanted to see him.
Everybody was enamored with his physical gifts, bro. That's what
They have no plan. Chris Ballard literally has gone on record with the Athletics saying, well, when you draft a guy, you feel the pressure to start him right away. It's like, are you serious? Like, what do we do? The pressure is to start him right away. So they start him. This is where I wanted to throw my headphone. This is the guest that he had, Steven Ruiz. I've never heard a competent GM refer to pressure from fans and bozos like us who just talk into a mic for a little bit and allow that to influence not only your decision making. Now y'all don't want to take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are y'all trying to distance yourselves from the fact that all of y'all wanted to see that man play, now y'all are trying to say, well, why you listen to us for? We're just bozos. Blah, 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 blah. These people ain't got no shame, Rod.
I mean, Herbie, that's the advantage you have when ultimately what you say doesn't matter. that's the advantage that you have as the media life. When you're in the media, you can say whatever it is you want, and you could either bank on, well, nowadays, because of the internet and because of the track the internet has on all of us, you can say something and people can find it and be like, no, that's not what you said. But Herbie, for the most part, the media can skate by with that excuse. They can take credit for the things they suggested, and for the things they're wrong on, they can say you're the professional. They can say you're the one who's supposed to know, right? And Herbie, to a degree, they're not wrong.
They're not
right?
wrong.
They're not
But
wrong.
it's not that that's the it's the fact that they're so flippant about it as if they were the people saying he should have never started to begin with.
Right.
And just like with the Shedeur stuff, right? People want Shedeur to have quote unquote a fair chance. No, y'all don't. Y'all just are enamored with the story and you just want to see Shedeur. It was the same thing with Anthony Richardson. Y'all were enamored with the new toy. So you're going to talk yourself into wanting to see the new toy, whether it was advantageous for him or not. I am on record saying he shouldn't have started, but I stand on that. I don't change. I don't pretend that I was somebody who wanted to see him and then acting like it was dumb the whole time. Literally, that listening to that podcast made me say inspired this whole conversation, Rod. Just so I could read that transcript. That disgusting transcript, bro. I've never heard a competent GM refer to fans and bozos like us who just talk into a mic for a little bit and allow that to influence not only your decision making.
Throwing rocks and hiding his hands, man.
Oh man. All right, man.
Well, you know what? Let me just say one thing, Herbie. I think you touched on this conversation, I think, quite beautifully. The one thing I'll add to this is I think, and this is just me personally, I think it's too early to call him a bust. Because
yeah, for sure.
Because when you consider the fact that he's younger than some of the guys who were rookies last year, you look at the situation, he still has an opportunity to still develop, Herbie.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
The physical gifts are going to be there. The one thing I will say is that Anthony Richardson, for a guy his size and his athleticism, he's fragile. He has dealt with a lot of injuries his first few years, right? And I think that's probably the most concerning thing to me about him is the fact that, and you consider his playing style, he just doesn't stay on the field. He hasn't even given himself a chance to stay and develop because he's always hurt. So,
but that's part of, and I'm glad that you bring it up because you actually centered back where I needed to go anyway, which is ultimately that's why the majority of the blame has to go on the Colts. At the end of the day, it is your draft pick. It is your responsibility. As grimy and as mad, as infuriating as what Steven Ruiz said, he's right. You're not supposed to listen to bozos like him. And if you do, you're the reason why you destroyed your own project. Because you were listening to bozos like Steven Ruiz and Shil Kapadia and Mina Kimes and whoever might have influenced you to put somebody who was a project out there before he was supposed to be out there. Getting hurt. Not understanding that you have a quarterback that might not be able to protect himself. That's the reason why he needs to sit out there. Not understanding that you have a quarterback that might not be fully aware of everything as far as blitz pickup, protection schemes, everything. That's on y'all. So the Colts have to take the blunt of the blame when it comes to this. The media has parts of it. Anthony Richardson obviously has parts of it, but who's really at fault is the Colts. You had a project. You did not treat your project like a project. You did not treat your developmental quarterback like a developmental project. And it blew up in your face in less than 2 years. That's crazy.
Crazy, bro.
That's crazy. You had anything else you wanted to get off?
Nah, man, I'm good. Anthony Richardson. That whole situation is just a gigantic mess, and I think you kind of pointed out what was wrong pretty well.
Nah, facts, bro, facts. All right, man. Last but not least, man, let's go ahead and blitz through this AFC North, West, and South division, man. So, Rod, I know you have a question for each of these teams, man. 12 teams, 12 questions, bro. Well, I got questions too. So you got the AFC. Let's start with your questions for the South. I'll go ahead and do my questions for the North, and then we'll meet with the West.
So I'm going to start with the division winners of last season, Herbie. I'll start with the Houston Texans. And my question for them is, are they ready to take the next step? Right? We've already seen that they could win a division. We've already seen that the Houston Texans can win a playoff game. So are they now at the point to where they can compete against the other division winners that are going to be in the AFC, a la the Bills, most likely the Ravens or Bengals, or the Kansas City Chiefs or the Broncos, which we'll get to. I will say this, Herbie. There's a lot to like about the Houston Texans. Despite the fact that CJ Stroud had a bit of a down year last year, which I will get to in a little bit, or the reason why, there's so much to like about this team, Herbie, right? I know Joe Mixon, I think he might be dealing with some injury issues, but in theory, the combination of him and Nick Chubb, even though Nick Chubb was someone who, Nick Chubb is not the same guy as he was before, especially when you consider the injuries. I think they'll have a bit more of a running game, right? Joe Mixon was pretty good for them last year, so to have a 1-2 punch will be good. The most impressive thing about the Texans, when you consider their defense, right? You have two of the best edge rushers in football, in Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. Those two guys gave you 23 out of 49 sacks last year. That's production you're getting back. You have the $90 million cornerback in Derek Stingley, whose running mates, Kamari Lassiter and Jalen Petre, these are guys that round out an excellent corner core, right? And even though I think at D tackle, the Texans are not strong, my biggest question mark for them and what will keep me from saying that they are not ready to take the next step is the offensive line. Now, they traded Laramie Tunsil, which pretty much made an already bad line worse. And they picked up Cam Robinson, who to me is not much of a player. I did like what I've seen from Ariante Ursary from some of what I've seen in preseason, but there's big question marks on that offensive line, Herbie. And there were times last year where you could see that CJ Stroud was kind of speeding up his play. Like he knew, like he didn't trust his protection last year, especially in the interior. And if they don't figure that out this year, they're going to be back in the same spot at best that they were last year, which is winning a weak division and, ultimately getting knocked out in the second round against one of the contenders.
All right, I'm gonna say this on the front end. Your version of rapid fire is way different than mine, my boy. I'm not gonna hold you, dog.
I got you. I'll be more. I got you.
Yeah, boy, we an hour in, bro. We ain't got that for 11 more teams, bro.
I got you, bro. I got you. Your boy did some research. I guess I just want to get some.
Nah, I know you want to get your shots off, bro. You feel me? You want to get your Steph Curry. Hey, listen, bro. I respect it.
You know what it was? We went in on the other teams. I don't want to do the AFC like that, but I got you.
Nah, facts. It's just we'll be here to about 9:30, my boy, 10 o'clock. At that rate, yeah, boy. And I ain't got it in me, boy. 2 or 2. Your boy got to be up at 2:30. All right, man. What else we got?
All right. So my next question is, I'll do this for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can Liam Cohen get Trevor Lawrence and the Jags back on track? I'll be honest, Herbie. I know Liam Cohen is some sort of quarterback whisperer, but I don't believe in the quarterback, despite the talent that they have at different positions.
You gotta prove it to me, man.
As of right now, Herbie, I don't think Liam Cohen. We'll see, but I have my doubts, Herbie. Let's leave it at that. I have my doubts.
As you should, bro. Trevor Lawrence got, bro. I done lost too much money on Trevor Lawrence, bro. He It's gonna take like 5 years for me to believe in him, dog. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
So the next will be the Tennessee Titans, Herbie. And my question for them is, what's this team's ceiling with Cam Ward, Herbie? And look, I know Cam Ward, there's mixed opinions about him based on how he's looked in preseason. I think he's like, if you look at his numbers, it's not great, but when you look at him like play by play on film, there's a lot to like. I don't think this team is a playoff team by any stretch, but I do think that they can double their win total from last year with Cam Ward. Like, I think Cam Ward, with some of the things they added, like Dan Moore in the offseason, Kevin Zeitler, they improved the offensive line. They added some guys, drafted some guys that will complement with him well. I don't think I'll be surprised if the Titans end up being kind of like a dark horse wild card team, but they could win about 7-8 games with him. That's my initial thoughts. And finally for the AFC South, the question is for the Indianapolis Colts, Herbie. Can they overcome an unfavorable quarterback situation? Now, I'll say this, Herbie. This is a team that was poor on defense last year. They missed 157 tackles last year. They addressed some of the issues that helped with that, but I just don't think the Colts, and they have talented players on their team, Michael Pittman Jr.,
Yeah, for sure.
Josh Downs,
Alex Pierce.
Jonathan Taylor. I was a Tyler Warren guy, but Herbie, the problem with the Colts is that without that quarterback, and I'm sorry, y'all, I'm not sold on that.
They're going into the league starting with Daniel Jones. They didn't end up with Daniel Jones.
They're starting.
They
chose him over somebody else.
They chose him to be their starting quarterback. That's pretty rough, man.
That's
pretty rough. All right, so I got the NFC North. I got the AFC North. My apologies, man. So starting with the division winner last year, the Baltimore Ravens. My question, and the only question that matters, can the Baltimore Ravens do it when it actually matters? You've won all the regular season awards. You got the MVPs. You got the coach of the year. You got all of that crap, right? Like, can Lamar Jackson and company not shoot themselves in the foot in the playoffs? Lamar Jackson, you have to do it this year, or it's going to get very ugly for you going forward. The pressure is already through the roof. It is going to be significantly worse if you guys blow it, have another disaster, if you guys are not representing the AFC at the Super Bowl this year. Yes, for sure. Pittsburgh Steelers. I am very, very high on the Pittsburgh Steelers out of nowhere. I just looked at their roster. I'm like, they have Jalen Ramsey, who's still really good. They got Darius Slay, who's really good the whole playoffs and the whole Eagles run. They got DK Metcalf. I was like, this team is actually pretty good. They got rid of George Pickens, but ultimately the question is always going to be, how washed is Aaron Rodgers? Is he really that bad? And again, the numbers are not going to actually give you the real story with Aaron Rodgers. He didn't want to get hit anymore. He had a terrible success rate. He had a terrible EPA. Well, not terrible, but below average, right? Like, those are the numbers that really show you how consistent you are from a play-to-play basis, and he really wasn't that good. Was it just the Jets, man? So that's my question. Was it just the Jets for Aaron Rodgers?
Probably. Wouldn't shock me.
My question for the Cincinnati Bengals, why are y'all so cheap? Y'all really about to make Boomer and Eisen pay for his own hotels so y'all can celebrate him?
Bro, the Browns are like one of the sickest owners ever, bro. Like, and I do mean sick, like, damn, you need help. Like, damn.
Who you talking about? The Bengals? The Bengals? You mean the Bengals?
Yeah, the Bengals. No, that's what I'm saying. Isn't it who's the owners? Who's the owners of isn't it like I forget the name of the family now.
Okay, yeah, so the Bengals own the Browns. The Browns do own the Bengals. Because
right.
The Browns, yeah. Mike
Brown
Brown.
family.
So
Yeah,
the Brown family. yeah. You my bad. Yeah, you should. Yeah, I got you. Yes.
Yeah.
Mike Brown and his legacy of cheap, very cheap. We're talking about, a lot of people don't know this. The Bengals have the cheapest scouting department in the entire NFL. It's like 5 people in the scouting department, dog. They find ways to be cheap, but this is next level. This is next level.
That's disrespectful, honestly.
And you're not going to sign Trey Henderson to a long-term deal, bro, and he's going to be a free agent next year. Yeah. And last but not least, man, Cleveland Browns. My question to y'all is, why can't y'all not be the Browns? Like, why is it so hard for y'all to not be the Browns? Yeah, like dysfunction, ridiculousness, don't have an actual plan in place, absolutely chaotic. This entire preseason has been a disaster all the way through. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, yeah, that is my questions for the 4 AFC North teams, man. And let's finish off with the AFC West, bro.
All right. You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'll start with the division winners and the Super Bowl representatives of the AFC last year. My question for the Chiefs, Hervey, and, this is an interesting one to me. Do they have it in them, Herbie, for one more run? And when you consider the fact that the Chiefs have legitimately played 20 games in 3 straight seasons, and they're going to be healthier this year, at least to start, right? They get
Yeah,
Word
for sure.
back, Brown back. And the Chiefs have a lot of the core players from their championship teams. When you think of Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, they have guys. But Herbie, I wonder, especially with their division, in my opinion, getting tougher.
No. I'm busy. No, give me a second. I'm busy. Give me a second.
Yo.
Niggas.
But no, Herbie, when it comes down to the Chiefs, Herbie, do they have it in them for one more run? It's hard for me to say no because of the excellence that they have sustained throughout the past few years. Like nobody else. It's not even like I think they're gonna fall off a little bit, but they're still gonna make the playoffs. And y'all just gonna have to prove to me that y'all can stop these boys. Like in my mind, Herbie, there's no excuse for why the Bills or the Ravens or some other AFC team shouldn't be representing. But my God, Herbie, you let the Chiefs go to 4 straight. Nah, man, that would just be despicable, in my opinion. For the rest of the AFC, the Chiefs' greatness will be their greatness. But do I think they have it in them for one more run? The sad thing is to say yes, because no one has in the AFC has yet to prove that they can sit Mahomes and the Chiefs down. So there's that. And my question, which is my half of the for the Denver Broncos, can the Broncos do the unthinkable and dethrone the Chiefs in the West, in just the West, right? The playoffs is a different animal, but winning the division, I think they could, Herbie. I think they could. If there is any team that I think there are two teams that I'm actually believing are going to really surprise this year. I didn't say this before with the Giants, but watching them in preseason, I'm thinking to myself, it's just preseason, but you know what? The Giants might shock. Like they might be better than I thought. And the Broncos, Herbie, is it inconceivable to me that they could be one game better than the Chiefs in the regular season, considering how great the defense I expect them to be, considering the leap I expect Bo Nix to take, considering the growth of their young, talented receiver core? Like, Herbie, I think the Broncos are in prime position to really, really make noise in the AFC. And listen, they even signed Evan Ingram, who that's not a name that screams out to people, but Sean Payton has proved in the past that tight ends can work really well in his systems. So listen, I'm all systems go for the Broncos. I think the Broncos will steal the division from the Chiefs. Now the playoffs, totally different animal. But in the regular season, I think the Broncos will impress.
All right, man. So with me, all right, I got 2 questions. 1, Las Vegas Raiders. Can y'all actually do something in the AFC West again, bro? Can y'all be relevant in the AFC West, please? And I do think you guys are gonna be actually relevant. Y'all know how I am, bro. I'm a huge Geno Smith fan. I love Geno Smith. I love Brock Bowers. I love Pete Carroll. I love Tom Brady. I love a lot about this team. Newsflash: I like Ashton Genty. I don't think he's a bust. But if you would have saw the comments on the video, you would have thought we hated him.
Man, if you don't say a guy is great, people just think you hate him at this point. Like
you
if
can
you're
say
not
he's
touching his
very
balls,
good.
like crazy, bro.
But my question to the AFC is, can you actually bring that level of excitement, energy back? Can you actually be relevant? Can you actually be competitive in the AFC West? And I think you guys are. I like, it's kind of crazy, bro, but like, they have the makings of a 10-win team, bro. Like, I don't really see why they shouldn't win 10 games next year unless that division is just ridiculously crazy, which it can be. You got the Chiefs, you got the Broncos, who you think is actually going to win, bro. So that's going to be kind of crazy. And last but not least, man, Los Angeles Chargers, man. When y'all going to give up on Justin Herbert? When y'all going to give up, man? When y'all going to
They
stop
got
wasting
10 more
everybody's
years at
time,
least,
man?
man. They got 10 more years of them.
When y'all going to stop wasting my time? When you like everybody's time, every bookie's time, every better's time, like when you gonna stop, man? We could nip this in the bud, dog. That's my question for the Chargers, man. Y'all, you know I'm on their neck for life, bro. What you thought? You thought I was gonna have something serious, man? Forget them, bro. You know I'm on their neck, man.
On
It's
their
up,
neck.
man.
That's
It's
it.
up, man. All right, any last words before we get up out of here, bro?
Listen, man, Herbie, now that we've wrapped up, all this football talk, Herbie, we are on the precipice of the NFL season. And I'm excited, bro. Like, we have one more week in between before football starts. I'm so ready for this, man.
Super ready, bro.
So ready, man.
Super ready, man. So with that, man, we'll see y'all next week. Deuces.
Deuces.